Jackie here from Riverside Grooming. Today we're going to be talking about how to brush your pet at home between groomings. One of the things that I want to really stress is that if you are going to be bathing your pet at home between groomings, you have to get every tangle out before your pet hits the water, if they have any coat at all. A boxer, it doesn't matter, but a poodle or a Maltese, something like that, we're going to need to make sure that they're properly brushed and properly combed prior to getting wet, because if they get wet, it's like and there's a tangle in their coat, it's like a wool sweater where there's a tangle and it will shrink up and it will be twice as hard to get out. Not only that, it will start getting closer and closer and closer to the skin and eventually pulling on the skin, and that's very uncomfortable for your dog. It can also cause skin irritations and rashes, scratching, itching, those kinds of things. So as with any procedure, tools are very, very important. If you have a dog that has a lot of coat, or if you have a dog that has some tangles in the coat, you want to start with a wider tooth piece of equipment. Okay? You don't want to go right in with a very fine tooth. You're going to start with a wider tooth. This is a slicker brush. We have slicker brushes, and we also have combs at the grooming shop. This particular slicker brush is great for puppies or dogs with sensitive skin because it has little plastic pieces on the end of the comb, on the end of the comb here. Okay, so when you're brushing your pet, it's best if they're up on a table, and that way you have control. It's very hard to chase them around on the floor in order to get them brushed. I like to have them secure with something around the neck or even around the shoulder area here. You can drape it around the neck, around one shoulder here. And this particular puppy, this is Renee. She's an Admiration Standard Poodle. She's our next show prospect. And she's been on the table quite a bit, even though she's only 12 weeks old. As you can see, she's very well behaved. We do a lot of grooming when they're puppies so that we can make sure that they are comfortable on the table as adults. Now, when you're starting to brush your pet, what you want to do is start at the edges of the coat, and we're going to just brush a section at a time, and then you're going to grab your comb, the widest tooth first, especially if you have any tangles, and then you're going to go to the more narrow tooth, and then fine tooth. Then you're going to pull it up here, and you're going to do the next section. Brush, brush, brush. Now, I don't have any spray here, but I recommend that you have some coat preparation spray that will really help to get the tangles out, and it'll help the tangles to dissolve. And we have lots of those products at the shop that you can purchase, and we would be very happy to recommend what we would feel would be the best. Now again, I'm going to do a section, then I'm going to comb a section. When you get to the body, you're going to tighten up you're going to stretch out the skin, you're going to brush a section, and comb a section. The comb should flow very freely through the coat. However, you don't want to do this at first, because that's going to be painful. It's going to run into, especially if there's tangles, you're going to run into tangles. You're going to want to do an upward motion on the body here, and then go to your fine tooth comb, upward motion. You can stretch out the skin, but ultimately the comb needs to flow, okay, before the dog hits the water. If you follow these rules, you'll be able to have a beautiful lush coat on your pet. But if they get wet, or you don't do this on a very regular basis, say 2 or 3 times a week, if you're going to keep any coat on them at all, then you're going to have matting and possibly a shave down when you bring your pet in to be groomed. So that's it. It's very simple. It just takes a little time and the right equipment and the right technique, and you'll have it. You'll have a beautiful, beautiful, fluffy pet.